Okay, we're back. Hopefully, everybody can hop back on. I'm going to give it just a few more minutes for people to get back on. I'm hopping over on Facebook as well and going into the event and letting everybody know what happened. That is the way of the world with computers. Would you agree? You just never know what's going to happen. So that's why I always like to get started just a couple minutes early just to make sure everything's okay. But I apologize greatly. But let me let everybody else know. Alrighty, so let's see. So for the sake of time, let's go ahead and get started and do another tech check. Again, there should be a box over here on the right hand side of your screen. If you would, drop your name there for me. Let me know you came. And also, um, let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. And if everything's good, looks like we got a couple yeses to go. All right, I'm going to hop over here and see what everybody else is doing. Just a few more minutes. Just a few more seconds. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to keep you guys for too long. But like I said earlier, thank you so much for joining me here for this quick 45-minute to an hour session. I know most of you follow me online, and what I wanted to do was really have a way to reach all of you because I can't touch each of you individually, but I can share some things with you that I do on a consistent basis that really helps me grow my business online. Um, the way this is going to work, every week or every other week, I won't promise every week, but maybe every other week, I plan to do just a free session where you guys can hop on and get content from me about really how to market your business online. There's no one way strategy to do it, but I feel like it's my responsibility as a business owner and a small business owner to share the information that I have. And it does me no good to keep it all to myself. And there are other people out there that can benefit from it. And I don't have a lot of time where I can work with each of you individually, but I feel like if I can just do this much for you all, that it would do wonders for your business. And I really love to see other people successful in their craft. So I plan on doing this maybe once or twice a month where we hop on. If you have questions, you're more than welcome to ask your questions. If you have some concerns that have been going on, I'll be here for a few minutes just to answer some questions. You know, it's not a service that I see a lot of going on right now. Everybody's about the dollar, and don't get me wrong, I am as well. But I also know that it does better for me if I give back. So this is my way of giving back. So that's the quick rundown of how this is going to work for the time that we're going to be here. But I just want you guys to know that I am available if you need help, if you see me. And I know that lots and lots of you have begun to follow me and that you get information from me online. And I just want to make sure that you understand that on these calls, this is free. This will always be free. I will never charge you for my time in this way. This is just my way of coming to you and say, here's what I do. Try to see if you can apply it in your business and see if it works. Does that make sense? I see quite a few of you hopping back on. If you could, just another quick tech check for me. Just drop your name in the comments. It should be on the right-hand side or down below somewhere on your screen where you could be able to see that and let me know that you are on the call and that you hear everything okay. And we are going to get started. I'm sorry about the tech mix-up. That happens sometimes. That's the way of the world and using computers. It's not always fun, but at least we're back on, right? So this is a Google Hangout, as you guys know, and it does some really cool things. And one of the cool things that it's going to allow me to do is share my screen with you all. So I am going to go through a quick presentation with you all to cover the boring stuff. But towards the end of part of the call, we are going to do some live demonstrations just to make sure you have an understanding of what I've talked about while we were on the call. So what I am going to do is start the screen share. And please forgive me, this might take a couple of minutes for my portion of the screen to come up and for you to see it. But we are going to hop into the presentation. Again, like I said, I don't want to waste too much more of your time with the difficulties that we had before, but I want to make sure you get what you need. So if you see me looking off, it's because I'm playing with the computer, trying to get everything up, and we are getting ready to hop in now. All right, so we are all here because we want to find creative content, right? I asked a poll for most of you that answered saying if there were two things out of branding and content that you could get more information on right now, what would those things be? And most of you guys responded content, which I was so happy. And I know this sounds crazy because yes, I am a brand manager, but I really, in order to have a strong brand, you have to have strong information to share. So I wanted to make sure that I got some valuable information for you all. But before we jump into all of that, there's something that I want to cover with you guys first, and that's an intro to who I am. I know that some of us have briefly had quick conversations online, but there is nothing like getting a formal introduction. So that's what I want to take a few minutes to do. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but I just kind of want to give you a little background about who I am and how I do what I do and how I came about doing social media marketing and sales. So the short part of the story is my name is Kay, as you know, but I have spent over 10 years working in marketing and sales. And in those 10 years, I've been in management positions for corporate America with a couple of Houston's biggest companies around the city, creating strategies and marketing to help them build their brand and build more customer and client relationships. Now, along with that, I'm also a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm a woman. And most importantly is, I wanted to be all of those things. And I think most of us that are on this call, we struggle with trying to figure out how can I be successful and be successful in my personal life and my career at the same time. So just in the last year, I made the decision to kind of step out of the corporate world, because if any of you have ever worked in that environment before, you know that there are some strong demands on you. And sometimes you can't always reach those demands and still be the perfect mother or perfect wife. Not that there is such a thing, but you don't feel that way about yourself. So I made the choice to step out and to do this on my own. And the way it came about is so unorthodox, but it's a funny story, and I'm grateful for it. I had a friend that was actually in business, and she needed a little bit of my help. And in helping her, I found my gift. I knew what it was. It's exactly what I was doing for the companies that I was working for, but I figured out that I would be able to do that on my own and be able to help other small business owners. And that's really how my business came about. I specialize, as you see here, in strategic planning, visual branding, web design, sales marketing strategy. I'm an educator, all that good stuff. But that's the short story of who I am. And that is the short story of why you get so much information from me as far as sales and marketing is concerned. So a couple of things, like I said before, that you can expect while we're on this call is things that are very directly related to creating content. And I know that when we are talking about social media and marketing, it is easily you're easily able to get off track and kind of go into other things, but I want to keep the focus really on creating the content, not so much as the mechanics on how to use the platforms and how to's, but really finding it, creating it, making it your own, and then sharing it. But before we can get into that, and I know some of you are not going to like this, but we've got to have some background information. We've got to know a little bit about where people hang out, why they're using social media, how many people are out there. And I know that's the boring stuff. That's not what you came to the call for, and it's a lot of things that you may or may not have already heard before, but they are so important when it comes to understanding why you're creating this content. So we're going to do those things. Not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I am going to go through it quickly just so that we can make a streamline to the strategy part. And that's the second part of what you see here. We're going to talk about 4 things that you need to consider when you're creating your strategy. And then I'm going to do a live demonstration on one of the techniques that I use using Facebook to help me create content. Sound good? All right. So, creative content. What in the world is content? And I know if any of you are like me, you have seen webinar over webinar over webinar, video over video over video about content. But what in the world is it? And my simple definition of what content is simply the things that you post that start conversations with your audience. That's it. And whatever it is, it may inspire them to like it. They might talk to you about it, leaving a comment. They might share with somebody else. But that's the simple definition of it. Just whatever it is that you put out there that starts a conversation with your audience is content. Content doesn't always have to be written. It doesn't always have to be in video form. There's several different ways, but it's all out there as the same, just to start a conversation. So why does this matter? Why does it matter that why do you have to create content? And I know that you've probably seen these numbers before, but this is why it matters. Most people, think about yourself personally. When you're getting ready to make a purchase, what do? If it's not a referral from a friend, more than likely, I know myself, I'm heading to the internet. And these days, it's more than just doing a Google search. It's going to social media and researching the brand and seeing what it is that they offer and what it is that other people are saying about them. So that's why it's important for you to create good content, because you're giving people that you wouldn't touch in a normal scenario information about your brand that they wouldn't they wouldn't be able to receive it from you. So here's some special numbers. As it stands right now, I looked at some research from the Pew Institute and some research that was done late 2013. It stood that Facebook had 1.5, that's inflation, 1.5 billion active users a month. And out of those active users per month, 5 times a day is how much you can count on them to log on. 5 times a day, 1.5 billion active users a month. Now, I didn't do the math on that, but that is a huge number. That's a huge number. That's just Facebook. That doesn't include Twitter. That doesn't include LinkedIn. That doesn't include Instagram. That doesn't include Google+, Pinterest, none of those other platforms. That's just Facebook. They also have some research that says that 42% of American adults are using social media. They're using it, and out of those 42%, 71% of them are using Facebook. So for me, what that says is that somebody's looking for something. They're looking for something when they're going there, and it's more than just being social. So here's what I could figure out that people were looking for when they were getting online. So you see, you have the start of social media over to your left, and that's when they log on, and it's something that they want to find. But I feel this is the process for most people when they're looking online. They're looking to connect with something or someone. They're looking to engage with something or someone. They're looking for information. They're looking for reviews. They're looking to be inspired by something. They're trying to get some ideas. Maybe it's planning a wedding. Maybe it's an outfit. Maybe it's business solutions. Who knows? But they're looking for something. They're looking to solve a problem. And if you can do any of that for them, then you are successful. And you do that by creating content that meets those needs. Am I making sense to you guys? I hope so. If you could, just, drop a note on the side. I'm very interactive. I know we can't speak directly to one another, but if I can get a yes, a why, a no, anything, just some indication to let me know that I'm making sense to y'all. But I hope that makes sense. And I repeat this slide again because this is the important part of when you start to think about how you're going to create your content. When people log on online, they're looking for these 6 things. They're looking to connect or engage with something or someone. They're looking to be inspired. They're looking to have some information, get some reviews, solve some problems. And if you can do any of that for them, then you have been successful. And I hope that sticks with you all. You can write that down. So there's a process that comes with creating your content. And in that process, there's 4 things. So we're going to start on these 2. The first part of your process is knowing who your audience is. It's knowing who is in need of information from you, who's following you, and who's in your community. If you know that, you also need to know what it is outside of you that they like, because they're not just connecting to you. Yes, they're connecting to you for whatever it is that you offer, but they're also connecting to you for something else. And if you can relate to them, or they're also online for some other reason, and if you can relate to them outside of just business, then not only have you given them information, then you're connected with them as well, and you've engaged. The more of those things that you could do, the better off you stand. So it's important to know who your audience is. And then the second part about that is it's important to research things that they need, because it's not always just what you have to offer. If you could become the go-to person that is giving them information that helps solve more than just the problem that you solve, then you become a friend almost, in a sense, where it's like, okay, you know, Kay, she's always got the answers to something. And even if it's not social media or branding, she knows something, because I'm offering information that's valuable. And I hope that made sense the way I said it. But you really have to know what it is that makes them tick and find out those things about them. And we'll learn a little bit of how to do that on this call. But so that's something that you want to consider when you are researching your audience. What else is it that they're interested in? I know that my audience is an audience of women, mostly, that are between the ages of 25 and 55. You guys like business. Most of you are mothers. A lot of you like fashion, because I like fashion. uh, a lot of you have interest in family and being motivated in Christ. That's a big one, because I use my religion. I don't keep it to myself, and I get a lot of response when I post things that are all about being spiritually connected. So I know that you're a spiritual crowd of people. So those are things that you kind of want to consider when you're thinking about what kind of content to make. So the third part of that is, once you find it, you have to put your personal touch to it. You have to put you on it. It's one thing to go out and find content that somebody else has created and then just share it, but that does nothing for you. That just says you can go out and find somebody else's stuff and share it. But when you take it and put you on it, then it says something about you. Yeah, it's similar to what I've seen before, but there's something different about it, and I just can't put my finger on it. And most times that difference is you. It's the way that you say it. It's the way that you present it. It's the way that you put it in front of your audience that makes all of the difference. And then that leads me into the design piece. And the design piece I put last, because it makes no sense to have your design. And I know some of my branding people are going to be upset with me about this, but it doesn't make sense to design something when you don't know how you're going to present it yet. So you've got to find the who, the what, and the how, and or the who, the what, and all that good information, and then determine the how, because there may be some information that would be good in just text form, or there may be some information that may need a graphics to supplement the text, or there may be some information that is like we are now that needs to take a little bit of time, and maybe you need to communicate that verbally, audibly, where people can listen to it or where people can see it. Maybe I need to do a tutorial so people can see me walk through the steps like we're getting ready to do in the live demo. Maybe I can just link it to my website and write a blog post about it and give them the information there. But there are so many things that you have to take into consideration before you can determine how you're going to present it, that the design element is last. You can have a framework, of course, but we're not going to get into that on this call. But the other three steps are most important, mostly being knowing who your audience is and knowing what they like, and then putting your personal touch on whatever it is that you find. So we're going to jump into how you find it. And I know you're probably sitting there like, Kay, I've heard this before. This is nothing new. All that sounds real good to me, but I need to know. What I need to know is how you find the content. I know it's important. You're beating a dead horse. I get that part. I know that I need content in order to be relatable and touch people online. I'm struggling with where to get it from. So what I want to do is, since most of you guys came from Facebook, I'm going to use Facebook as our example today. And I'm going to show you one thing that could lead you to several other things that you could do when you're researching online, and maybe an hour is what you would have to spend on doing this. So this is really the time where you want to get your pen and paper and really start to write some things down, because some of the things that I want you to pay attention to while I'm going through the demo is that we are getting ready to do some competitive research. We're going to find some popular messages, we're going to answer some questions, and we're going to figure out how we can put us on it to make it ours. So again, we're going to use Facebook because that's where most of you came from. And this technique should not take you more than an hour a day. And we're going to find the competition and use them in order to help you create your content. And I know this sounds crazy right now, but I promise you it will all make sense when we get there. So I think it's time for us to do the live demo. And this demo is only going to take about 10 minutes, but I need to get to the live screen. So while I'm going through this, bear with me. I'm switching over and I'm sharing my screen. So you might see my face again, or you might see something else. But I want to make sure that you get to see me do this live demo. And I just messed something up. Not real sure how I did that. Don't want to do that. Okay, I wonder if I am sharing. Yeah, I think I am. Okay, so if you're there, just put your questions over here on the right-hand side just to make sure that you can see the screen. And we are going to go over to Facebook. Can you guys see that? Yes? Okay, I'm going to do this a little bit differently just to make sure you can see it. Here we go. Alrighty, so now we're on Facebook, and I'm going to go to my page. I'll use my page as an example so that you can see. So from here, there is something that I want to show you, and it starts in your insights. So before we get there, these are some things that I want to point out to you. And you know what? No, let's go here first, and then I'll point that out while we're there. So I'm not sure how familiar you are with your insights, but there's a little piece down here that's called Pages to Watch. And what I like about this Pages to Watch function is that it allows me to watch other pages that may or may not be competition. They might just be something that I like, but I use it to find content. And some of these you may see, you may be familiar with them. But let me say this, I am a bright girl and I am very unique, but there is no way that I can create all that content straight off the top of my head. So I'm going to make this disclaimer before we get started, because by no means do I want you to think that we are stealing content. What we are doing is finding information, because I know that can come off bad. We're finding information to find ideas about things that our audience would probably be interested in. So for myself, as you can see here, we can use Kim. She's probably not on the phone, but Kim is a really big social media guru, and she is very good at what she does, and she has a lot of engagement. So what I would do, if I've already researched that and I know who my competition is, I'm going to come here and add the page. And all you have to do is simply type in the URL for the Facebook page. And I'll use one of my other pages as an example. Let's use the church. Here. And I hope she's not on the call. She's going to kill me for showing her page. But I come here and I put in the URL of the page. And if you don't know the URL, you can just go to the page and look for it. Then I press enter and done. So now that should add that page to my page, my list of pages to watch. And it didn't. Let's try it again. Where is she? Might not let me do it because it's my page. So let me see if I can find something else. Um, let's just say I'll put this one on here and I will erase this one, I swear. But it adds them to your pages, your list of pages. So once you've added them, and I've got quite a few here, I just wanted to show you how to add them. Once you add them, then you have them here. So what I typically like to do is, and I'll use Kim's for an example, I like to come here because it's going to give me their top pages, their top posts for the week. So when I'm coming here, I'm looking to say, okay, Kim had 76 posts. And out of those 76 posts, she got 67,000.5 engagement this week. That's pretty good. So what in the world was she posting about? Let me go here and see. And it's going to give me the top ones that were things that she talked about. But it doesn't stop there. So I don't really want to know, you know, what the post in particular, although that's good information, but I want to go here to the comments because there may be something in the comments that I could use as fuel for my fire. So when I say that, I come here to look and say, okay, what got a lot of comments this morning? Or what got a lot of comments that Kim posted about this week? Let's see. Tomorrow's going to be any better. That's 25. It's okay. I won't be impressed with technology until I can download. That's okay. But I'm looking for something meaningful. I'm looking for something that is going to suggest that there may be a question that someone had in these comments that I need to answer. So shake off today's problem and be ready to embrace a brand new day tomorrow. Okay, well, that's motivational. I do that a lot. So let me come here and see what people were saying. Were they saying anything? Oh, yes, they're all in agreement. So no good content there, which is okay. What else are people saying? And this is literally how I go through and find stuff. So this one's got 12 comments, and if I look here, it says wishing does not make it come true, which you're right. So if people are commenting on it, then that means it's something that's meaningful to them. So what did she talk about? Change can be pretty scary, but you know what's even scarier? The words I wish I had. Okay, yep, Kim, you are absolutely right. So if I talk about change, then it's likely that somebody's going to say something. Now, I don't have to use these exact words, but it looks like change is a hot topic. Yeah. And then look here, in Vision 24, you're talking about how to handle traffic to other platforms. I want to tell you that I am new to all of this, but it's becoming more and more important to me every day because of the different businesses that I'm involved in and how social networks have become more and more important when it comes to marketing. That looks like to me from a social media standpoint that I probably should be talking about handling traffic in my upcoming post. So does this make sense what I'm saying to you? Like if you go through here and find, their top post and then kind of look through the comments, there may be if people are sharing it a whole lot, it is definitely something that you want to, you can theme your post around that. She's got 265 because you want it to be shared. 286, I want to impress with technology and, but make sure it's something that's relatable to your brand. Don't just go on here and find stuff that other people are posting about and just post it. It has to make sense for your brand. So tomorrow's going to be the best day ever. That's motivational. There's 25 people that said something about this. So I would go through here and browse those 25 comments to see if there is anything in there that I may need to answer or to see what type of reaction it got. This looks like it got positive reactions, so maybe if I post a post, because I know that my audience is similar to hers, if I post a post about tomorrow being a good day or being better than yesterday or being better than the day before, that I'm going to get a good response, possibly because it got one here. So that's the research that I'm talking about. The second part, to go a little deeper in that, is I start here, but then I go to her Facebook page or anybody's Facebook page. And from her Facebook page, she's more than likely got a blog. So I'll go to the blog. And then from the blog, I'm looking at her topics: how to split test Facebook, how to create amazing graphics, how to set up Twitter cards. All of these things are relative to my business. But if I wanted to go a little deeper just to see if there is anything else that I might need to talk about, then I go to the actual blog. what is she saying? What are people saying, if they're saying anything, at the bottom? Um, to see if there is anything here that I need to answer. Um, Optimal time between tweets. It's a question. I can answer that. I can create content to answer that question. But I hope you see where I'm going with this. And this takes maybe an hour, if that long. So the way that I do it, and I'll go back for just a quick second, is I will make a list of my target audience. And my list may be about 4 or 5 people long. And I will focus on those people. And this, I mean, people do it all the time. I will focus on those people because I may not have frequently asked questions. I might have run out. I don't have anything else that people have asked me, and I need to look for things that people are looking for. Another way that I use Insights to do that, and I'll go back so you can see it, is when I'm here, like say and I'm using her because she hardly ever uses graphics to post. And some of you probably know her, but she's a motivational author, but her message is similar, very, very similar to mine. I will go through and look at her text and see how I can change her text to a graphic and post it and get engagement. And it's maybe not the same words. I don't use the same words, but there's a message in here. And whatever that message is that has gotten a lot of engagement, you can see it here, 1,500 shares, that's huge. 6,000 people to like it, that's huge. And that's just from Proverbs 15 and 14. And that's probably because she's participating in the Proverbs challenge that's going on right now. And she has a huge audience, of course. So it's unrealistic for me to think that I can get 6,000 people, but I can get more engagement to my page. And people are more likely to share it because it's already proven that people like the content. So that was my 10-minute spiel on that. And I'm doing really, really good on time. So what I want to do is come back to the screen because that's really all I have. I did really good. I'm so proud of myself. But I want to come back to the screen and get out of the screen share part, and I want to take any questions that you have. So if there is something that you want to ask, then I want you to get, and if you can, if you see it over here, to drop me a question over there on the right hand side if there is anything that you have questions about what we went over. And I think I'm doing this right. No questions? Okay, so if there aren't any questions, let me get back to the PowerPoint. That's it for now. Thank you for coming and spending 30 minutes with me. It went a little quicker than what I thought it was, which is always good. I planned on maybe spending 30 minutes to an hour with you. And I'm hoping I'm not missing anybody's questions. If I did that improperly, this is my first time using this platform with the Google Plus and the webinars. If you have questions and I didn't answer them, go to the event and put them in the event, because with all the people that are on the call, I think it's really strange that nobody had any questions. So I'm probably 100% sure that I am doing that wrong. So if there is nothing else, really, I want to thank you for your time and thank you for coming to spend that time with me and allowing me to share that information with you. And if you have questions about anything that we talked about today, feel free to leave a question in the event, and I'll get the answer for you. And again, I'll do these, I'm not going to promise every week, but maybe once every other week, I'll be able to do these for you guys just to share some information.